Hi friends! Today, I want to show you where I disappear to when I have a day off. You know, I'm one of those people who just can't sit at home. I've been living in the Canary Islands for 2 years now, and my main passion has always been exploring new places hidden from the ordinary tourist eye. I always film all my excursions with 3 cool gadgets: an Insta360 Ace Pro 2-action camera, a DJI Air 3 drone, and an Insta360 by 5 panoramic camera. And this time, my journey took me further and further west until the land literally ended. We're on El Hierro. It's the smallest, most mysterious, and remote island in the Canary Islands. Just over 11,000 people live here, and their lives are completely different from the bustle of the mainland. There are no traffic lights, no huge factories, and the doors of their houses are still unlocked. The island is completely self-sufficient in clean wind and hydroelectric energy, and is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. Today, we'll explore it on my own route. Point 1. At the top of the world altitude. 1,300 meters my journey begins here, at a dizzying 1,300 meters above the endless ocean. The air here is so clear that it feels cool even on a sunny day. But the most incredible thing is the clouds. They're not overhead, but right beneath my feet, like a fluffy white blanket. I take out my DJI Air 3 drone, start the motors, and it soars upward, piercing this snow-white shroud. Now I'll show you a bird's eye view of El Hierro. From above, its unique triangular shape is clearly visible, reminiscent of the spine of a prehistoric lizard frozen in the middle of the Atlantic. The drone's camera captures the incredible contrast. The dazzling sun shines above the clouds, while deep green valleys are hidden beneath them. Point 2. The dawn magic of Sabinosa. To witness the next miracle, I had to wake up at 4 in the morning and drive to the tiny town of Sabinosa. We waited in anticipation of the sunrise. I captured this scene with the Insta360 Ace Pro because its night mode and color rendition perfectly captured the midtones. At this hour of the morning, thick clouds lazily roll over the cliffs. And then, through this thick, milky haze, the first, still weak and timid ray of sunlight begins to break through. It colors the fog in soft pink and gold tones. The light is so soft and diffused that the landscape looks like a watercolor painting. In moments like these, you realize that this moment was worth waking up early. Point 8. The island's hidden gem, Laja Recreational Zone. This place deserves a special, touching story. We arrived at Laja Recreational Zone landmark. Height 551, Santa Cruz de Tenerife Province. What is it? It's a state-owned, perfectly maintained recreation area, hidden in a dense, primeval forest. Here, I pull out my Insta360 Ace Pro again to capture the full depth of the green hues of this place. Among the centuries-old trees, Canary Island pines, and moss, stone tables are set up, safe barbecue areas are equipped, and clean drinking water is available. Locals come here on weekends with large families to relax in peace. In Laja, you can see clouds gently drifting between the tree trunks, of the Atlantic, creating the atmosphere of a fairy tale, 1,500 meters above sea level. It's the entire world below has finally disappeared under a carpet of clouds of the island, which now seems like an endless, blazing ocean. The sun touches the horizon, setting off a grand cosmic ritual. This spectacle cannot be described in words, it must be experienced. From the ground, this evening would seem simply overcast and gray. But here, above the sky, we witness the pure magic of the universe. Look at the horizon. The purity of the thin mountain air of El Hierro allows us to see what lies hundreds of kilometers away. There, above the sea of clouds, like giant ghost ships, the peaks of Tenerife and La Gomera emerge. Mount Tide hovers in the troposphere, painted in deep purple tones. At this moment, all earthly landmarks are erased. You feel not just on an island, you feel like you're on a spaceship, hurtling through space and time. Every second of this golden hour is unique. The Ace Pro lens captures this fading flame with incredible precision. The green grass of the peaks flares up one last time, absorbing the energy of the fading day. It's a moment of absolute harmony. The island, lava, grass, clouds, and technology all come together in a single point of space. Here you understand why it's worth overcoming kilometers of fog and climbing to the heights. The sun is setting. The last ray pierces the cloud foam and dissolves into the infinity of the Atlantic. The fiery ocean beneath our feet cools, turning into a cold, dark blue blanket. The world is immersed in twilight. Night falls on El Hierro, the time when the island reveals its final, deepest dimension. When the earthly light fades, El Hierro shines with cosmic light. Due to the absence of large cities and factories, the sky here is recognized as one of the darkest and most transparent in the world. Above our summit, a colossal panorama of the Milky Way unfolds. Myriad stars, distant galaxies, and nebulae appear so clearly, as if there were no longer any atmosphere between us and outer space. We stand on black volcanic rock, yet feel part of an infinite universe. Our journey through El Hierro is coming to an end. We've traveled this path from the black basalt shores to the emerald meadows of the summit. We peered into the cozy Frontera Valley through a dense wall of clouds and saw the wild lacework of the lava pools of Sabinosa. And each time, this island has proven one simple truth to us. Point 3. Flying over the Mirador de La Peña restaurant, we're moving to one of the island's most famous architectural landmarks. I'm once again launching the DJI Air 3 drone over the famous restaurant and observation deck, designed by the legendary architect Zona. The building is literally built into the sheer cliff face. The drone flies over its stone terraces and dives into the abyss. Thanks to the drone's dual camera system, I can show you the entire magnificent Frontera Valley, revealed from below. It's a gigantic semicircular amphitheater formed millions of years ago when part of an ancient volcano collapsed into the ocean. From the drone's altitude, the white houses of Frontera's residents appear like tiny salt crystals scattered across the emerald floor of the crater. For a long time, humanity drew a line here, the end of the known world. Ancient maps ended at these coordinates, calling Cape Orkilla the prime meridian. Ancient navigators believed beyond lies only a seething abyss inhabited by monsters and eternal darkness where the sun falls. A man standing here thousands of years ago knew he is looking into nothingness. But we did not come here to gaze into the distance. Our goal is vertical ascent, 1,500 meters above sea level. Pico del Malpaso, the point where gravity seems to weaken and the air becomes so thin and pure that scientists use its parameters as a global standard. Here, at the summit of El Hierro, the bustle of cities disappears. The rest of the world seems like a distant memory, buried somewhere below. With the Insta360 X5 panoramic lens, we capture this absolute isolation. The island shrinks to the size of a small planet, lost in infinity. El Hierro is a chameleon island. It's hard to believe, but hidden in the middle of the parched Canary Islands, born of fiery lava, lies this emerald paradise. Endless meadows covered in a carpet of soft green grass. If you close your eyes, you might think you've been transported to the foothills of the Alps or the vast expanses of Ireland. But open them, and you realize these pastures soar at a bird's-eye view, surrounded by the salty Atlantic. This isolated island is home to just over 11,000 people. Imagine an entire island, the size of a major European metropolis, dedicated to a handful of people and the wild, pristine elements. There's no rush, crime, or hustle and bustle here. The locals call their lifestyle slow. They don't lock their doors and leave their keys in their cars. Everyone here knows each other by sight, and their life is a manifesto of harmony with the planet. But the true drama of El Hierro unfolds when you approach the edge of the cliff and look down upon Frontera. From here, at a height of 1.5 kilometers, civilization seems fragile and defenseless. The Frontera Valley is the bottom of a gigantic amphitheater, formed millions of years ago by a colossal landslide when half the volcano collapsed into the ocean. From the ground, Frontera seems like a cozy town. From here, it's just a handful of grains of sand, squeezed between the sheer wall of the volcano and the merciless blue of the ocean. From a bird's eye view, the island's geometry seems divine. You see how a thin strip of human life exists at the intersection of two titanic forces: solid rock and eternal water. From below, on the city streets, it's impossible to grasp this scale. You see only the walls of houses and the edge of the mountains shrouded in mist. But up here, you understand. El Hierro doesn't belong to humans. They are only temporary guests on this majestic stage. To overcome the limitations of human vision, we entrust control to technology. The DJI Air 3 quadcopter is ready for launch. Its mission is to do what humans cannot. Step into the abyss, penetrate the veil of clouds, and connect the top of the world with the valley below. The camera is ready, the motors are running. We embark on a flight that will forever change our understanding of space. The drone steps into the void. Below us is no longer solid ground. Below us is an ocean of clouds, swaying at an altitude of over 1,000 meters. This is the El Hierro tropospheric phenomenon. Moist trade winds blowing from the Atlantic collide with the island's walls and become trapped, forming a dense white blanket. From above, it appears to be an endless polar desert, a snow-covered plain where the sun never sets. We soar in a space where the line between sky and earth is erased. We begin our descent. The drone plunges into a dense shroud, into the very heart of a cloud waterfall. All around us is a solid white milk. At this point, the pilot at the summit loses visual contact, trusting only the instruments and satellites. It's a blind flight through a curtain that separates two completely different worlds. The world of eternal sunshine above and the world of a hidden valley below. Seconds drag on like hours as the camera pierces this damp shield. The clouds part, and a hidden reality instantly unfolds before the DJI Air 3 lens. We emerge from the fog directly over the Frontera Valley. The speed of the fall is breathtaking. Look how the scale changes. What seemed like a toy from the summit takes on a tangible form. Green rectangles of fields, smooth threads of roads, rooftops of houses where their own life, hidden from the world above, flows. The drone connected to realities, traveling from the sky to the ground in a matter of minutes. The unique dual camera of the DJI Air 3 allows us to see Frontera from all angles. In all its details. Look back at this cyclopean rock wall. It's hard to believe that just minutes ago we were standing on its summit, above the white rim of fog that now lazily rolls over the ridge. From below, this fog looks like ordinary clouds, but we know the secret. Up there, a dazzling sun is shining, flooding the island's alpine meadows. Frontera is the heart of El Hierro's agricultural life. Protected from cold winds by this enormous rock wall, a unique microclimate has developed here. Locals grow pineapples, bananas, and the famous grapes from which they make wine with a unique volcanic character. And all this is fueled by 100% clean energy. The island of the future ensures that this unique aerial view remains pristine for generations to come. The flight is over, but our exploration of the island is just beginning. We saw how the sky meets the earth in the Frontera Valley. But El Hierro has another secret in store for us, the place where rock meets ocean at the island's westernmost point. Where the trade winds depart, and where nature has created its own natural architectural masterpieces. We see a road winding along the island's steep western slopes towards Sabinos. The Insta360 Ace Pro camera, either mounted on the car or held by the photographer, captures the wild, wind-twisted relict trees of Sabinos, bent by the force of constant storms. We head west, towards Sabinos. This is the most isolated and mystical part of El Hierro. Here, the landscape changes again. The green meadows of the summit give way to rugged slopes, home to the famous Sabinos junipers bent for centuries by the fierce ocean winds. Their trunks twist into incredible spirals, like the cries of nature itself frozen in the tree. The land here exudes antiquity and solitude. The cliffs here drop sharply into the ocean. Below, at the foot of the black volcanic cliffs, a complex system of natural rock pools is visible, where the ocean waves crash noisily. The Sabinos lookout, a point where you are left alone with the colossal power of the Atlantic. Here, the land no longer tries to appear soft or green. It is the planet's harsh, basaltic shield, bearing the brunt of thousands of storms. Look down. There, at the foot of these black cliffs, nature has carved unique natural pools, lava tubes filled with crystal clear ocean water. These rock pools are a masterpiece of El Hierro's natural architecture. When molten lava met the icy ocean millions of years ago, it exploded and solidified, forming these perfect bowls. The water within them is still and clear as glass, while just a few meters away, they open, untamed Atlantic rages. These are natural spa complexes created without any human intervention.
Wow.
Point 4. Secret Observation Deck Insta360 by 5 exclusive, and now comes the real adventure. I came across an old observation deck. Entrance was officially closed, and a padlock hung on the gate, warning of danger. But what could stop an explorer looking for the best shot? I carefully walked around the fence and walked to the very edge of the cliff. I was holding the Insta360 by 5 panoramic camera on a long, invisible selfie stick. I captured the whole thing in 360-degree format so you can scroll the video in all directions. The ground literally falls away from under your feet, the wind whistles in your ears, and beneath you lies a kilometer-high wall and a roaring ocean. The little planet effect produced by the Insta360 by 5 conveys this dangerous and majestic solitude in a truly cosmic way. The clarity of the water in these rock pools is astounding. Thanks to the complete absence of industry and major ports on El Hierro, these waters are recognized as some of the cleanest on the planet. It's a biosphere reserve, where the ecosystem has been preserved in its pristine state. You peer through the water and see every detail of the volcanic seafloor, every crack in the basalt solidified thousands of years ago. DJI 3 starts up again, or the camera gently pans up from the pools. We see the Sabinos pools from a bird's eye view. The black cliffs look like lace, cutting into the blue ocean. From above, The water in the pools appears as bright turquoise neon drops against a black background. And again, we change perspective. The view from the Sabinos observation deck is beautiful, but the view from above completely rewrites the picture. From a bird's eye view, these rock pools look like giant turquoise eyes of the island itself, peering out into the endless ocean. Black basalt, white storm foam, and the neon blue of the water merge into a perfect artistic canvas, created by the greatest artist of all time. The drone flies further out into the ocean, turning the camera back toward the island. We see Sabinosa, the cliffs, pools, and rising misty mountains as a single colossal landmass amidst the endless water. There's not a single person in the frame. Here, at the western end of El Hierro, you physically feel like you're at the end of the world. The vast island feels like a deserted ship lost in the Atlantic. This feeling of absolute solitude isn't frightening, it's purifying. There's no room here for the noise of civilization, news, or worries. There's only the eternal rhythm of the ocean surf and the stillness of the ancient rocks that stood here long before man arrived and will stand here long after. Time flows differently on El Hierro. With Insta360 by 5 time-lapses, we can see what's hidden from our normal perception: the movement of air masses. Look how clouds, descending from 1,500 meters, lazily envelop the western cliffs of Sabinosa. They seem to be trying to protect this fragile world from the scorching sun, creating a perpetual play of light and shadow on the surface of the ocean basins. This entire landscape, from the green meadows of the summit to the lava pools of Sabinosa, is under the strictest protection of UNESCO. El Hierro was designated a biosphere reserve for a reason. It is an example of how humanity can use technology such as renewable energy to protect, not destroy. Here, nature remains wild, yet hospitable to those who come with an open heart and respect for its laws. The day on El Hierro is drawing to a close. The sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon to where, according to the ancients, the world once ended. The cliffs of Sabinosa are painted in golden hues, and the water in the lava pools turns into a liquid mirror, reflecting the palette of the fading sky. We return to the summit to end the day where we began, above the clouds. Point 5. Sunrise in Sabinos, a hair-raising experience. We're returning to the outskirts of Sabinos, but this time to a different point, closer to the ocean. I'm holding the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and want you to experience this moment with me. As the sun finally rises above the horizon, its direct rays cut through the mountain gorges and fall upon the dark waters of the Atlantic. This contrast of the harsh black mountains, golden light, and the piercing blue of the ocean gives me goosebumps every time I stand here, looking at the screen of my Ace Pro 2, and realize this is one of the most beautiful, powerful, and pure sunrises you'll ever see on this planet. Point 7. Living masters of the meadows. Walking through the vast expanses of San Andrés, you realize who the real masters are here. The local population has been practicing traditional agriculture for centuries. They raise cows and sheep. While I'm setting up the Insta360x5 on a tripod to capture a panoramic time-lapse, the animals wander calmly around. They're completely unafraid, wandering without leashes or fences across these emerald meadows. Many of them have bells hanging from their necks, and their soft, melodic chime echoes throughout the area, mingling with the sound of the wind. It creates an incredible sense of peace and absolute safety. Point 6. The town of San Andrés and the sense of morning. Now our path leads inland to the highland town of San Andrés. Here, El Hierro changes dramatically. Forget the harsh black cliffs and volcanic lava. I walk along the trail, filming myself with the Insta360 Ace Pro. Its stabilization perfectly smooths out my steps. Around us are endless fields covered in lush, thick green grass. The landscape is more reminiscent of the Scottish Highlands or Ireland. The morning air here is filled with a special freshness. These views of the fields literally smell of dawn. A mixture of dew-damp earth, wild grasses, and a light ocean breeze that reaches even here, into the very heart of the island. Point 7. Living masters of the meadows. Walking through the vast expanses of San Andrés, you realize who the real masters are here. The local population has been practicing traditional agriculture for centuries. They raise cows and sheep. While I'm setting up the Insta360 X5 on a tripod to capture a panoramic time-lapse, the animals wander calmly round. They're completely unafraid, wandering without leashes or fences across these emerald meadows. Many of them have bells hanging from their necks, and their soft, melodic chime echoes throughout the area, mingling with the sound of the wind. It creates an incredible sense of peace and absolute safety.
Zoe, stop! Это смотровая площадка посредине грот и скал. Здесь люди купаются. Вот он. Метров 30 высота скал. Метра полтора-два вода. И посредине всего этого Атлантический океан. Чуть потеплеет, потом буду купаться. Потому что сейчас сильный ветер. Там тоже подниматься надо.
To see the true beauty of the world, you must be able to shift perspective. You must have the courage to break away from the familiar ground, soar higher, and overcome the fog of your own doubts. El Hierro, the former edge of the Earth, has become the beginning of a new perception of the planet. The purest, safest, and most mysterious island, which carefully guards its secrets for those willing to come here with respect and an open heart. Perhaps it is here, alone with the heights, the wind, and the stars, that a person can finally find what they've been searching for so long: absolute peace, purity, and themselves. Soar above the clouds, and see you on new journeys.